Here we go. It's another good looking morning. We're getting ready to start our run today. 365 days, no days off, running every single day. We're going to see if we can put a little length to our run today. We're going to try to run a little bit longer. We'll see how far we get. The goal is to run as far as I possibly can without stopping. So that's what I'm pushing myself to do today. And I'm hoping that I get a good response out of my legs and that I'm able to add some length to my run. All right, so let's go. We'll see you in a little bit. Hi guys, I'm back. All right, day 24 completed. Check. One more run done. 365 days of running without any days off. We're just completed day 24. I tried to go as far as I could today. And I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping to surprise you guys and say something like, man, I broke the 3-mile barrier. But I did not. I only got to 2.36 miles without, slowing down at the same pace, maintaining the same pace, which is not very fast. I'm not running very fast. I'm running like a 12.5 mile right now. It's just a nice jog. You're just jogging, but that's just where I am, and that's okay. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually I'll start building up some speed. And as I progress through this transformation, maybe even more distance. Right? I'm trying to add more distance every month. But here we are. We're on day 24. I'm super excited. I'm very close to getting to that extra mile before the end of the month. I'm only 24 days in, so I have a few days to get this going and rock this out. So let's talk about that for a second. What happened today? So I got up with the intention of running a little extra. That actually gave me a little bit of extra time to think. And I was in my head thinking about what stops us. Like, why is it that it is so hard to push ourselves to do something that we want to do? I think about, for example, some kids when they're in school, they're trying to get through high school, and it becomes this challenge for them to just simply get through high school. And we have such a high dropout rate in the country that it made me kind of wonder, like, what is it that makes the human person give up? Like, why is it that somebody says, I want to start a business, but then as they're going through the process, so many of them give up? Or why is it that maybe they launch their business, but when the business starts encountering some financial challenges, or maybe it's just not meeting the expectations that we went into the business for, we just simply give up? Like, why do we quit? Why do we quit? And I think in some cases, a lot of cases, I think it's fear. Sometimes people are fearful of success. They're afraid of what will happen if they became successful. And, maybe it's a situation that if you work a lot of hours, you have the excuse that you're tired and that you can't invest time in your relationship. And so it's okay that your relationship is falling apart. Not that you're okay with it, but maybe in your mind it's kind of justifiable because you're not investing time in your relationship, but it's because you're working so much. And it kind of got me thinking, like, it made me wonder how I ever done that. It kind of made me a little conscious about my behavior and how much I work and how many things I throw on my plate. The other thing is that sometimes I think people are fearful of success because if they made the kind of money that makes them feel successful, they kind of become scared of not having the excuse of doing the other things. For example, I work so many hours and I work so much, I'm too tired to do something good and go to the gym every day. I don't have that kind of time. Well, if you were making a passive income of, let's say, a couple $100,000 a year, you wouldn't have the excuse to tell yourself, I can't go to the gym because I work so much. And so the fear of having to face that, I think sometimes it makes people just simply accept, hey, it didn't work out. But we still try, we still attempt to do something, or we still want to do something. And I think the reason why we do that, because one would say, well, why would you even try in the first place? But the thing is, I think we do that so that, I think people do this because that way they can look to the outside, and they're so worried about the perception of other people that they want other people to say, yeah, that he tries a lot. He tries. So we can't knock him for trying. I mean, he's giving it. He's out there. He's doing his thing. She's out there. She's doing her thing. She's trying. She's tried a couple of businesses. She's still going. It's okay. But that person, maybe it's operating with fear of success. The other thing that I think, and I think this one is even more predominant, in my opinion, is that we don't have a clear understanding of what obstacles are. So what happens is we start to run for 365 days, and then your back is hurting. And you're like, oh man, my back, I'm having back spasms, and I feel like I got a pinched nerve and I'm sore. And I'm thinking that maybe I just need to take a couple of days off of running, and then I'll just start this challenge later. And as you guys remember, a few days back, I was telling you how I was running, but I had injured my back somehow, and I was having these back pains. And I pushed myself to run through the pain. I kept thinking, David Goggin ran on broken legs, man. I can handle a little spasm on my back. So I pushed myself to run through the pain, and obviously eventually I made it to my chiropractor or whatever, and I'm still having a little bit of soreness, but I'm not feeling that bad. And I was able to run. I'm able to run better, and I'm not having this shooting pain thing through my back anymore. So here's the thing though. I think a lot of times we don't have a really clear understanding of what obstacles are. About 17, maybe 18 years ago, I spent the weekend with a guy named Christopher Howard. He's one of these guys like Tony Robbins who used to hold these workshops, and he talked about the power of positive thinking and manifestation and all these. It was just this enriching personal development experience. He has this like wealth building academy and all kinds of stuff that people enroll on, and they follow his programs, and some of them just want to quit smoking, and they go to him, and he does hypnosis and all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. I spent the weekend with that guy. Actually, I spent 2 weekends with him in around that time. And while I was in his workshops, one of the things that he did that completely just blew my mind, because I had never heard this before, was that the obstacles that get in the way of succeeding whatever we set our mind to do are actually like the signs on the road. When you get on your car and you're driving from here to New York, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona right now. If you're driving from Phoenix, Arizona to New York, you're gonna encounter detours, and you're gonna encounter maybe like some heavy rain, or maybe there's a roadblock somewhere, heavy traffic congestion as you're going through some of the major metropolitan cities, whatever it may be. Those are obstacles on the road, right? And maybe those detour signs and those road closed signs, those signs are like obstacles when you're trying to accomplish something. You're trying to accomplish getting to New York. That's your objective. Well, what happens is that what he explained is that when you're thinking about doing something, or whenever you set your mind to a specific goal or objective, where you're moving in a direction, a destination in your mind to accomplish something, obstacles are there to tell us that we're actually moving to do something. They're there to remind us that we are actually seeking something. And he did a demonstration, and he took all these chairs and he put them in the middle of the room, and he had one person stand up one end of the room, and he threw all this stuff in front of him, like, chairs and desks and stuff. And then he walked to the other side of the room, and he said, if you just stay there, do you feel any obstacles if you're just standing there? And I think it was a lady, if I remember correctly. The lady was standing there in the corner of the room, and she said, well, no. And he said, that's life stagnant. If you're not moving in a direction to accomplish something for yourself, your life is really just stagnant. It's just, you're just processing oxygen, right? That lack of inertia, that lack of momentum, that lack of accomplishing something, that lack of moving in a direction or moving with a trajectory in mind, that makes your life obstacle-less. You can just sit here, process oxygen, breathe, exhale, give the plants what they need. There's no obstacle here. But the minute I decide that I'm gonna go make breakfast, my first obstacle is I gotta lift my butt off this chair. And then I gotta move my leg over the chair to get out of the sitting position. And then I have to walk to the kitchen. And all of those are little obstacles that don't seem like obstacles because they're so minimal in nature. It's like an everyday thing. You get up, you go have breakfast, you get up, you tie your shoes, right? Like you don't think of them as obstacles, but in the grand scheme of things, those are little tiny obstacles that are reminding you that you decided that you were gonna go get eggs for breakfast. And so he stood this lady at the end of the room and he explained there's no obstacles right now in your objective of being there in a state of stillness in that corner of the room. But then he said, but now I'm going to give you a motivation to do something. And he held a $100 bill and he said, if you can get to where I am, right? You can have this $100 bill. And of course, the lady immediately crawled under this table and she, moved this chair out of the way and she kind of walked around this other table and she moved this other chair out of the way and she hopped over this little bench thing that was there and she kind of navigated her way through this through this mess of furniture, right? And she got to the other end and she took the $100 bill. And he said, that right there is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Those obstacles that you overcame right now to come over here and collect the $100 bill, those obstacles were testing you to see if you really wanted the $100 bill. The universe puts these obstacles to remind you that you have an objective, that you have a mission, that you have a place that you want to go, that you have something that you want to accomplish. And that's the reason why it throws these obstacles at you. And it's also in the process confirming, do you really want that? Do you really want that $100 bill? Because if you want it, you got to show me you want it. Here's a table right in the middle of your pathway. Let's see if you can get to it. If you get to it, you can have it. And this morning when I was running, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, we don't encourage our kids to do good in school to accomplish an objective. We just kind of tell them that they have to go to school so that they can learn the things, so that, so they can do good in school and maybe get a good job or maybe get into a good college, right? But the problem is that your kid is not thinking of this as a motivational thing. Your kid is just thinking, well, I just gotta do what Pop says, right? But he's not motivated. There's nothing motivating about that. He doesn't even understand what is a good life. At 16 or 15 years old, I want you to think back right now and go back to 15 years old, and I want you to think about your life today, and I want you to think about, at 15, did you really know what a good life really meant? No. No, if I had the life that I thought was going to be a good life at 15, oh dear God, my life would be horrible. My idea of a perfect life at the age of 15 was going to cruise night with my friends. Flirting with all the chicks. I mean, right? Think about it. When you were 15, your motivation of a good life was, for lack of a better way to express this, it was retarded. We think stupid when we're kids. And so when I was thinking about why do kids quit school? Why do we have such a high percentage of people that quit at launching their businesses? It's because they don't understand trying to get that business license that you need, going to take that Series 7 exam or getting that certification for your insurance license, or completing that real estate license and registering your entity and setting up your banking and trying to figure out your marketing to get people to start calling you, and then having the waves and ups and downs, you got clients, you don't got clients, people came to buy burgers to your place, but you're having a dip this month, not a lot of people are coming out to eat. Those are obstacles that are trying to tell us, yes, I hear you, you want to accomplish this big thing. I want to remind you that you want to do this, so let me throw an obstacle at you. I want to also see how hard do you really want this. How much do you want this? How much do you care to get this done? And so I think that particular thing, that understanding, if we have an understanding that obstacles are actually just there for us to just overcome, it's like playing a video game. It's like, when you were a kid and you were on that video game, or maybe you're still on the video game, God forbid, but if you're still on that video game and you're like, I got the level 7 and I gotta kill this big dude right here, and he killed me, okay, you come back and you just keep fighting the big monster and shooting your little rockets and missiles and flying all over the place and coming back at him, and you're trying to just kill the big dude so that you can get to the next level. That's your obstacle. And it's funny how we play video games when we were kids and we understand this concept, but we don't apply it to real life. And I don't know how I'm going to think about motivating my daughter, because my telling her this is going to give you a good life, well, like I said, at 15 she has no idea what the hell does that mean. But I had a moment of clarity that my approach with my kid has to be different. It can't be just, you got to go to school so you can go to a good college. What the hell does that mean to a 15-year-old? He doesn't care? What does that mean, Dad? You work 80 hours a week in the office. I don't really think that's a good life. How about that one? Right? We don't know what our kid is thinking. You went to college, Pops? You travel for 6 months out of the year. I hardly ever see you. That's not a good life. I don't want that. Those are real challenges that our kids are thinking about. You know? Those are real things that are keeping your kids from being successful. Those are real things that maybe are keeping your kids from going to college. Those are real things that keep our kids going to a job. Because the other thing is that we program our kids to go get a job. Some families are like, you're 18, you need a job. How about, you're 18, let's think about what amazing thing we can do. Have you thought about what amazing thing you're going to do? Do you see yourself building something for yourself? What's the dream? What do you want to do? What do you dream about? How do we make that happen? I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly, genuinely telling you right now, I don't know how I'm gonna do this with my daughter, but I had this moment of clarity of, I definitely need to do something different than the average bear, because the average bear has a 60% dropout rate across the country. It's really sad. And only 30% of the people that go to college actually graduate from college or something like that. It's just ridiculous. So, one thing is for certain. I think that I identified some reasons why people give up. And so now I need to go figure out the gap on how to make sure that, one, I don't give up on things, and two, how do I motivate my kid and teach my kid to be the awareness of this deceitful process that we have in our mind. You know? Anyway, the good news is that even though this is really a physical challenge of just running, I really want to get to 365 days, and it's kind of interesting. Something else I thought about was that I no longer care about losing weight. I'm not in it to lose weight. I stopped thinking about my weight loss. I stopped thinking about my anything to do with that. All I'm thinking about is how much can I get done in 365 days of running without taking a day off. And so since my objective has changed, I feel like I'm falling in love with the process, because it's not about, oh, have I lost weight, or am I, are my clothes fitting me bigger? Oh, am I getting ready for this race? It's not about the damn race. It's just about staying the course. And so there's like this whole other shift in mentality that's happening about the running. 365 days I'm really excited about. And I hope that you get excited watching these videos. And I hope that some of my thoughts about our kids and their college and why people quit or all this stupid stuff that I talk about, I hope that you find it inspirational. I hope that it opens like something in your brain that helps you with your family and your loved ones. I hope that it reaches you and it triggers you to want to do something amazing for yourself. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next video. One less day to go. Take care.